Hello everyone, greetings and namaste. Thank you so much for watching this video. With me is Scarlett from Self-Love Mandala, and this is my second video interview with Scarlett. The last time we got together was several years ago, and we talked about the topic of self-love. And back then, I thought that I had ample self-love, but over the years since that video, I was still digging up a lot of residual stuff that I not confronted or didn't have the guts or bravery or even the conscious awareness that was there. And I purged out a lot of insecurities, anxieties and fears. And wow, my level of self-love now compared to back then has really skyrocketed. And even then, you know, I would say that I'm humble enough to say that from that experience, that every time I think I hit the ceiling, that ceiling is really just the floor on the next level, right, of endless expansion. And there's so much in us for the childhood trauma, the past hurts, the inner child wounding that we have to, you know, clear away. Right, Scarlett, thank you so much for agreeing to come back onto my talk show. Could you share with us a little bit of what you've been up to over the last couple of years?
Wow, okay, so hi everyone, and thanks for inviting me back. It's really fun to do this with you.
Always.
I have, for the past few years, it's been crazy for me as well. I think, you know, talking about self-love, we always feel that, you know, there's something more that we need to deal with. And I think because both of us have been on a journey with other souls, we have been through journeys where we are interfacing with them so much that the mirror effect is just in our face when we are not embodying, you know, our practices, when we are not able to really feel more love for ourselves. So I too have been on a huge journey of interfacing with my so-called twin flame then, and also learning to really connect in with God, connect in with myself, and really, you know, learning about all the joys and pains of being in relationships with the divine, with myself, with another, and then all the parts of myself that are still, you know, pandering to other people, hoping to make a difference in other people's life, so that it also makes a difference in my life. But there is just so much work to do, and I'm also unraveling my own, you know, places that are still dark, places that are still needing attention, places that I'm still seeking from someone else rather than from myself.
Indeed, I can resonate with everything you just mentioned, and that also actually led us both to go into our own hermetic stage, a very self-healing mode of doing a lot of self-development work and upgrading ourselves. And only by healing ourselves and doing the work do we have the experience, the wherewithal, the compassion, the empathy to assist others. So only by advancing in our own spirituality, our own evolution, then can we then be ready to step up. And that's why also for many years, the two of us being like, you know, the first twin flame teachers here in Singapore, back in the time when you search twin flames, there's hardly anything online. Now when you search the title twin flames, thousands of videos and so many written articles as more and more people experience that mirroring energy, the energetic, the energetic sense of what this twin flame concept is about, and realizing that that twin flame counterpart allows them to peer away and acknowledge all the inner woundings that they have not dealt with, they're not confronted with, and ultimately it's really that separation within themselves and with God, with the divine. All right, so it's so deep at the soul level and so feels like suffering, like pain, and because of that, we were people. When there were so few twin flames several years ago, people would say, oh, it's an urban legend, it's a spiritual myth, it doesn't exist, you guys are making it up. And we have been going through a lot of this backlash. And then that actually made us ponder, maybe we are making it up, and maybe it doesn't exist, or that person's a false twin, or, you know, all kinds of fear-based stuff will be triggered in us to the forefront for us to deal with. And that actually led us to step away from this concept for many years as we immerse in other healing modalities and other subjects pertaining to spirituality, because the spiritual umbrella is huge, it's endless, and as more modalities appear as well as it expands, as more people awaken. And so, I think it's a very good time now that, even people who once told me, hey, the twin flame doesn't exist, you guys, it's bullshit. These people are now finally, or rather in divine timing, met their twin flames, and they say, oh, who can I ask? Luke has experience in it, because Luke has been teaching it, and then come to me about it. And then I say, yeah, it's something that if you never experience it for yourself, you have no resonance, you cannot relate to it. I can't blame them for not relating to it. And so, right, it's a very crucial time for us to step back into talking about this topic, because we really went on hiatus from it, but right now it's a good time for us to come back. More and more people are now meeting the twin flame companions and counterparts. And at first it feels like a honeymoon, but after that it goes into a rather changed dynamic, and it leads to separation, and they're in so much pain and internal conflict, and people, their loved ones make it worse. Their loved ones give them really bad advice because they have no experience with this. And everyone gives them conflicting advice as well, because they only can come from their perspective, as lovingly as it is, and that adds to further confusion within people who are experiencing this dynamic. So, Scarlett, could you tell the audience a little bit about your own personal twin flame journey and what it has taught you, and how it has changed you and as a person, and what kind of tips and advice you can give to someone who is experiencing this dynamic now and is confused?
Wow, I mean, there is so much actually to cover
on this topic, isn't it?
On this topic. I don't know how many times we probably can appear to share. I think for me, there's a lot of doubt, throughout this whole twin flame journey. Yeah. But there's also a lot of times when clarity comes like never before. And for me, the whole twin flame journey is really about my connection with God, because I grew up in a Chinese family. My family is quite interesting because I have a lot of sisters and we all have different spiritual pursuits. So my parents, grew up in the traditional Chinese way. They go to temples, they worship their ancestors. My elder sister is a Buddhist. My second sister says she's kind of like an atheist. She believes that everything is in your own free will. Mm-hmm. And my third sister started looking for her religion from young, from the time she was 11. She searched until she was 15, and she said, "I'm becoming a Christian. I go to the Most High God." And then there was me, who feel that all religions are the same; it all leads to one. And then my younger sister, who started going to temples first, and then later became a Christian. And my experience, of God was very mixed. It was very, very mixed. It was always, this love-hate relationship. Like, I know that there's something bigger, and I know that there's a God out there, but I don't know what shape, this God is in. I don't even know whether to call it God. And when I was a lot younger, I remember the first time I went to like a Christian fellowship group, and it was funny because I enjoyed it so much. I felt the love, I felt the fellowship, and then like 2 or 3, gatherings down the road, when they said that anyone else who worship any other types of gods, and other religions, you are going to hell. Like that was the kind of lingo that they used back then. That was the kind of energy.
Yeah, it's like fear-based paradigms and control systems. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's dogmatic,
Totally rejected that. Like deep down, like no, like how can that be so? How can you say that other religions were also trying to teach something good? Is people are going to hell and all of that. So I did not resonate with that. Okay, and so for the longest time growing up, I had this love-hate relationship with God. I was kind of, part angry in some ways, and I didn't believe, right? I believe, but I don't believe. I also have a logical, scientific mind, and I don't disbelieve it, but I don't totally believe it because I haven't encountered it. So this whole journey with the so-called twin, I say so-called twin because we both had these conversations. We know that at certain points in time it can change. The person can change because at the end of the day, it's really about our own journey. And when I encountered this person, at first it was lovely, like you said, it's like, oh, you're surrounded by 1,000 angels. But it just went down, and a lot of times, it was so painful. There was so much that I had to process. I had no one to turn to. I could only turn to God, because it's a very confusing time. Like Luke was saying earlier, like you tell someone and they think that you're crazy, you're making this up. Maybe you're glorifying your own relationship, but it's dysfunctional in so many ways.
Yeah, what's happening there and then is because people, they're trying to pigeonhole from their past experience what's happening in a twin flame dynamic and twin flame relationship into a normal 3D based, conventional, romantic kind of relationship.
Yes.
So the moment that person's abusive, toxic, not treating you well, you should leave. And that's so logical. Anyone by nature will automatically do that anyway.
We would have done that.
Exactly. But what is happening is because the twin flame is an energy, it's not really a person, it's really yourself, it's a mirror to yourself. So it's their function externally to drag out all the pain and internal undealt wounds you had into the forefront, the awareness. So you're suddenly confronted with a lot of darkness, you're being plunged into a dark night of the soul. And you feel more lost than ever, and that forces you to seek the divine. And then it brings you closer to God, because there's no one else you can find externally who can help you, only within. And that will lead into then a development of the Christ conscious virtues like patience, forgiveness, self-love, compassion, empathy, like never before. So you really reach an unconditional state of love for yourself first, and then for your twin flame partner. That it's not, normally you will never forgive or be able to let go or be able to be patient with this kind of behaviors and patterns. But yeah, you're able to find that within you, and you're surprised yourself, wow, I have this capacity to love someone in spite of all the darkness and tragic and pain they've caused. And it really blows your mind away, alright? And that wow, I have that in me, the capacity to love something or someone so much and be able to forgive even the most heinous of crimes. But having said that, it must be stressed over and over that when we choose to love someone unconditionally, be it a family member, a soulmate, twin flame, it doesn't matter, or high initiate, soulmate, a karmic partner, ultimately choosing to love them and forgive them is not the same as accepting or condoning or approving their abusive, toxic patterns, addictions and behaviors. It's very clear cut. Say, I accept you for where you are at and I forgive you, but it doesn't mean that I want to keep allowing that, and that's where healthy boundaries need to be put in place. And learning to set boundaries, even for us teachers, has been something that we learn very quickly with the twin flame dynamic. With people, some people naturally the balance of giving and take is very healthy. They're very emotionally balanced. They're very respectful, and they will not try to deplete you or drain you, right? But these people are few and far between. So with people that we are unable to detach from, for example, siblings, your boss, and not so easily able to detach from because the relationship dynamics serves to make us evolve and serves to trigger us and serves us to allow us to grow and to grow and expand, then learning to have healthy boundaries with these people and learning when to say no is a very crucial skill. Very, very crucial indeed.
I feel like there's a lot of women who we give, we just want to give, we just keep giving and giving. It's almost like we want to be this bottomless pit of love, like ocean that's overflowing with goodness. But you cannot always do that for everyone if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Never ever, because when you do that, you are just you're just running yourself dry, and you're gonna get so tired, you're gonna get so toxic. Here's the thing I learned about myself, Luke. It's crazy, but that I found that throughout my patterns, even before I started this journey, in my workplace in the past, I would give so much until I'm so tired, and then it becomes passive aggressive, it becomes toxic.
Yeah, so you become toxic yourself.
I become toxic myself because and the thing is, and it's at the end of the day, it's no one else's fault, because I keep giving, I keep thinking that I can give, And then eventually when I'm not, getting what I'm expected in terms of like, I should be getting love and admiration and respect from the people that I gave so much love to, but that's only my part of the story. The other people are not experiencing what I'm experiencing. They're not
Correct.
seeing
They're
things
not
from
seeing-
my perspective. They think that she's happy to give, right? And she's not expecting anything. And that's when unconditional love comes in. And that's when we learn to know where we're giving unconditionally, or that we're actually giving with expectation of something coming back to us. And whenever we give with that expectation that, I think this person's gonna like me, well, that itself is already conditional.
Yeah, because being a people pleaser and not able to say no is lacking boundaries. So it boils back to that. And this is a really topic that we can go on forever. It branches out to other subtopics.
Yes.
Right? So, this people must understand that regardless of your gender or your sexuality, we all have male and female energies within us, both the divine masculine and the sacred feminine. And sometimes when these are out of balance, it causes a lot of egoic, toxic behaviors and patterns, and addictions as well, that then unwittingly and unconsciously get projected around people around us, and they become victims of that. And we are also victims of other people's imbalance and toxic behaviors and patterns. And so the onus is on us to be aware and conscious of all these within us, of the ID, the it, which is the lowest form of the ego, the primordial, primitive darkness of the egoic personality, and catching ourselves when that happens, and it's really conscious, and making the conscious choice to release it, to heal it, to give credence to it, and then shift out of it. Alright, and it's easier said than done. It really takes practice, it takes personal experience, and more often than not, people rather numb, repress, run away from sitting with themselves and sitting with that internal demons, the darkness that they don't even want to acknowledge or give rise to. Just like giving rise is the right word, because you're transmuting it from that pain, the old stories, the darkness, into a higher vibrational state. But you can only do that by going through it, confronting it and facing it, acknowledging it, giving attention to that wounded child that has been neglected. And what it is again that nobody volunteers to do it. That's why the twin flame energy and the twin flame dynamic mirrors it so in your face, literally, that
you can't help,
you can't escape.
You just have to deal with it.
You can't escape, and that's what the twin flame energy is for. So there's so much miscommunication and misinterpretation what the twin flame is, because it's really a misnomer. The word twin flame sounds very romantic. So people try to pigeonhole into a sexual or romantic 3D old relationship patterns of the past, and this is a true relationship of self and higher love. Of course, it can have romance and have sexual connotations and elements, but it's only a small, tiny subset of the totality of what this twin flame energy is meant to do for you. It's meant to really purge, heal, and release all these trapped patterns that you're not dealt with within yourself. So it really is a blessing.
Yes. In fact, look, when I feel that the sexual part comes in, if you have, a need that you're not meeting, right?
Yeah.
So anything that's happening in a twin flame dynamic are all the parts of the self that you have ignored, right? There are things that you desire in certain areas of your life, but you haven't actually looked into it, like give yourself that proper attention in that area. You're not giving yourself enough social time, you're not giving yourself enough room, to go out to explore what you want in a romantic relationship. You're not knowing what your own, sexual desires are. And it comes, it comes, everything that you're not facing. And it could even be finances, money, it could be your health. Everything that you're not looking at, it's just going to come straight at you, because that's the energy. Everything that your soul deeply yearns for, it's coming right out at you. That's what it is. That's what it is. So don't look like, yes, look at what that external is reflecting back at you, but own it, take accountability for it.
Yes.
Take back your power. I think at the end of the day, it's really about owning our own power. We tend to give our power away by, and it's funny because we were having this conversation. We say that a lot of times we find that this dynamic happens to people who are
Very strong.
very strong, very
The leaders
powerful.
type, the teachers, the healers, the shamans, it happens to them first.
Yes.
So they then will be able to be equipped with the resources, the experience, the wherewithal to help others. Otherwise, it's the blind leading the blind if you haven't gone through it yourself. How do you help your clients who telling you they're going through a twin flame dynamic if you haven't gone through it yourself? You see? And so it's really a powerful transmutational and transformational process. So I even say when people tell me they met the twin flame, I say, congratulations. You know, it's not what you think, but it will be one of the best things that ever happened to you. It's not an easy journey. It really takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery and strength. And that is then earned, cultivated and developed through this process, through this journey and honed. You're like purifications, polishing a diamond, you know. And it's a very challenging process, and that's why we have, you know, teachers like us to hold your hand and help you through this and be a good support because we have gone through it ourselves and we're still going through it. You know, so many years, you know, I've been dealing with it myself for 6 years, and I think you're about the same, 6-7 years of it, in a time when it was hardly anything on it online at all. In fact, back then we didn't even know what it was. You know, so it really is a very alchemical, powerful process of which we're very grateful because, like what Scarlett has mentioned, it makes you stand in your strength, your authenticity, your power. You rise and you really makes us steps up to be ready to serve in our true form and live our life purpose, our soul mission, and be brave enough to stand on the pedestal and then assist and help humanity, which is what we signed up for. We came here to do, to help other people. And it makes us do that job in ever greater ways. It really equips us, you know. So having said that, you know, we can really go on and on this topic. It's really endless.
Yes.
And you know, don't run away from this. There's no running because it's running away from yourself. You're carrying yourself, your darkness. Running is only temporary and you're still facing it because it's the energy that follows you. It's not the person, it's the energy first. In the energy you try to escape, you can encompass someone else, and yet you see that mirrored patterning again because it's just a reflection of all the stuff you're not dealt with, you're not being brave enough to deal with. So there is no running. What you resist persists, you know. There's only so much you can run from. You're only running away from yourself. Always remember that. So confront it, be brave enough to work through it, heal yourself, do the work, purge, release, transform, transmute, caterpillar into a butterfly.
Yes, and always, you know, forgive yourself for everything.
Indeed, and be grateful
Everything.
and say thank you to the process.
Yeah, and just, you know, just love yourself, love and love and love yourself. There's always, you know, there's so much love in this world, but we always feel that that's not enough for us. So it's crazy. You have to let on more love for yourself. Really take that energy all in so that you can really nourish yourself from within. So a lot of us, you know, we are very strong already, you know, in our everyday, you know, 3D structure life. So many of us are in leading positions, but now the process is reversed. It's about that internal cultivation, that power that comes from within us, that power that is so deep, but it's deep because it's filled with love. So how much of that love can we harness? How much of that internal power can we really, you know, bring forth and hold within ourselves so that we can become that container of love, we can become that container of being, you know, loving for as long and extended time as we can be. You know, that is really, I think, the pursuit that we're going for. I mean, we haven't got it all together all the time.
It's not possible.
We're always on that journey, but still
change is
learning.
always the only constant, so nothing stays the same, whether in a low or high vibration. It's an ebb and flow, it's a wave.
Yes.
Right? So you know, truly to summarize, the twin flame journey is the journey to self-love and unconditional love for within, and then it disputes without and our connection to the divine, to God's source. Alright? So it's that divine love, that spark within that we then discover Right, Scarlett, you are actually doing a retreat with my mother, Marilyn Lotus,
Yes.
the first of many to come. Could you tell the audience a little bit about it?
Okay, so we will be heading out to nature. We will be doing spending wonderful time in nature. Marilyn is so amazing. She has this wonderful touch. The shift is so quick, I experienced it myself. So she uses acupoint pressure. She'll give you a full session and she'll work through all your body, all the issues that you have, all the challenges that you have. It will just go like out of your body. And for me this time, I'm doing mandala with you. I will be letting you create your own mandala. And from there, we will answer your soul's greatest yearnings and desire, your inner voice, listening to what your soul wants to tell you. And we would also do a lot of sound healing. We would go out to take walks and interact in nature, bringing yourself back into that state of being at rest, being in harmony, and being able to recalibrate. Because a lot of us are so busy in our life all the time. We
Get our
hardly
balance.
take time.
Yeah. Yeah. So could you tell the audience where can they go to find out more about this retreat, as well as your other workshops, your services, find more about you, your teachings?
Okay, so so the retreat is actually up on my Facebook page. It's called Self Love Mandala, and for my offerings, I'm actually just finishing up the touches of my new website. So you can go to www.scarlettcp.com. So that's SCARLETTCP.com.
I'll be placing her website link below in the video description. Please click on it to get in touch with Scarlett. Scarlett, I honor the teacher, the divine, the goddess, the facilitator, the shaman, the healer in you. Thank you so much for being my co-creator.
Thank you, Liu. You are so wonderful. Words cannot describe it, and I really honor all the work that you've been doing all this time. Even when we were in our hermetic hiding mode, I know that you have been really out there. You've been putting yourself out there, being available for everyone. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you for having me in your space. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you as well to all of you, our precious co-creators, for watching. May this video serve you and support you and encourage you on your journey.
Yes, and if you have questions for us, write to us in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be happy to share with you our journey.
Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more similar videos to come as well. Bye.